Hello and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. This is part 4 of our Halberd run. Going through only using halberds. Last time we went through all of the Road of Sacrifices and Crucifixion Woods. Couldn't think of the name for a second, but yeah, we also beat Rotted Greatwood and Crystal Sage. And here, we are going to try to make it through at least most of this next upcoming area, which is going to be Cathedral of the Deep. So immediately to Twinkling Titanite. While going through here on console, that one that's just standing still, the enemy above my head, I don't know if it's just like a console thing or if it was just a weird glitch in the Matrix or something, but that part of the map deloaded when I came here and they fell through the map. It was honestly quite useful as I did not have an upgraded weapon at that moment. And also, it stopped this from happening. But it's not too bad. Especially now that we've made it here. My man was not attacking. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was some funky camera business going on there. But anyways, I was just super worried about rolling and then falling off the map. So that's why I kept it backing up. But we took them out, so now we're good. And Herald set. And I mentioned it last time, but taking on one enemy is exponentially easier than taking on two. Just because the way Dark Souls' combat works, it's kind of built around a one-on-one. And so once multiple enemies are thrown into the mix, it makes things so much more difficult. But down here, we got this one guy, and he's protecting an item. And I always hate when this happens. When the enemy AI just like has a stroke. And so they just don't attack. And they just continuously move forward. And it's like, well, I'm gonna keep walking backwards and you're gonna keep walking forwards, and maybe someday something will happen. Yeah, this one really likes... This one really likes to roll backwards every single time you attack. He's also insanely good at rolling through your attacks. Like, people complain about input readers on Elden Ring. It did not originate in Elden Ring. But getting through him, we can get Paladin's Ashes, which will be useful for something later on. For now, there you go, bud. for now, we can just R1 spam, which is way too strong for some reason. And he didn't do his war cry for some reason. Again, I'm not doing any specific run, but I'm playing through and just generally leveling up dexterity on console so I can go through the DLC, because I have the DLC on console but not here on PC. And when I got here on console, he used a war cry like 9 times, but only did like 2 attacks. But there, he didn't use war cry at all, which is a little strange. Do we have... We do not. It's good to have a torch coming into here. It's also good to have a shield coming into here. And I don't have a shield either, so... Hello. Yeah, the shield is good for the dogs. Because dogs, while they can be annoying, get absolutely destroyed by shields. Also, certain weapon classes send them flying back, which is also very useful. And I forgot that halberds did that when I started this run. But I'm kind of glad they do. Especially since we will not be getting a shield for a while. But still, good to know. And very good to have. The dogs have not been an issue whatsoever this run. Despite how slow halberds are, and despite the fact that the dogs really like running from side to side. And this is just a pokey weapon, which is not very good for dealing with enemies that go side to side. It's been surprisingly effective. Oh. Now, here, there's an Estus shard. You know what? Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. I made this same mistake going through on console. Never mind, it's not a mistake. Those things, if they hit you, they'll leave, like... What's dying? Anyway, they leave, like, worms or something on you. And it is not... And it's not good, and builds up blood loss. And you need a torch to get rid of it. And we don't have a torch. But you kill that thing for a twinkling titanite, you get a titanite shard here. And then if you go down here, there's another one that drops another twinkling titanite and another normal item for another titanite shard. So 2 twinkling titanite, 2 titanite shards, and then there's the big titanite lizard over here, or big crystal lizard, and they drop scales. I don't know how many scales it drops, but we can find out. Probably 1 or 2. Poor guy doesn't want to fight. He's just trying to exist in his best life. And we came in here and just poked him to death. He gives a 1. Alright, so you come here, you get 2 Twinkling Titanite, 2 Titanite shards, and 1 Titanite scale. Okay. Yep. It hits you and then poison bite ring, but it leaves these little worm things on you, and they will slowly build up blood loss. I forgot to put the timer up. So, and 3rd Titanite shard. So, I won't have a thing of like, oh, we've been doing this for 40 minutes. But yeah, certain actions like opening a door make you invincible. And therefore, you are then immune to blood loss. But in here, there are 2 doors, neither of which open. They are both shortcut doors. But sitting at the bonfire also gets rid of them. And now we can head back to Firelink. Because we need a torch. And also we got the Estus shard. And a few more things as well.
What?
So cash that in. This needs large Titanite shards, which we do not have.
Pretty like that.
Grey Rat is back.
Oh, hello. You've come at a good time. It took some prowling, but I finally made a score. Go on, have a gander.
Alright. So, he now sells the lightning urns. He sells the Pontiff Knight curved sword. Pontiff Knight shield. Probably some other stuff that I can't think of right now. But he also sells the glaive, which is a halberd. And so 3,500, but we can get that. And we can sell some stuff to him because not using the Herald set. That's not the set for this run. Spider shield, crush shield, not shields for this run. Notched whip, nope. I don't know about any of these yet, so we can keep them for now. Crystal Sage.
Goodbye.
That either gets you a sorcery, which we're not going to use, or a thrusting sword. Which this isn't thrusting sword, but I might keep it in case we need to do a bit of grinding, so. But also Paladin's Ashes let you buy the Crescent Axe, which despite having axe in the name, it's a halberd. And also torch. And last time we took out an exile guy, and that gets us the exile armor available for purchase, along with beating Crystal Sage, which lets you buy Sage's big hat. So I got those.
Ashen one.
Welcome. Very then take.
And we can level up.
Let these souls withdraw.
So like 2.5. So 11 or 10. So strength brings more. We can do that.
Farewell, Ashen One.
And yeah, now we can head back. You don't need the torch for too many things. Again, it's mostly just for those, like, worm guys. Look at me. Alright, so he's gonna explode, and that's some free souls. And up here, there's a Stora greatsword. I don't remember if there's anything over here. I don't know what keeps dying. That did not happen on my, like, the Rust run. Again, didn't record that, but Executioner's greatsword. But there were no random deaths when I went through that time. And it's not a thing that normally happens. Also, these enemies, they can hit you with the gloop worm infection. And there aren't too many of them, but there are a few. And also these things, which are very aggressive. And we got their hood, but we're not using their armor set this run, so... And yeah, there's a handful of these guys here. Now, as you can see, just like in the Undead Settlement, there's one of these young white branch trees. And you got that guy throwing arrows. Though part of this area is obstructed by that building, so if you want him to shoot, bring them out here. But yeah, you can see it there, and you can see him shooting the bow. Now, the main thing in this section, don't get blindsided by this guy, is an undead bone shard, which allows you to have higher Estus healing, which is very good. And then to the left here, you can get another Titanite shard. So that's good if you're upgrading like 2 different weapons, or a weapon and a shield. Or like, I had a few friends that like to upgrade the torch a little bit, because there's some enemies that are very resistant to most things, but very weak to fire damage. And they didn't want to have a weapon purely for fire, so they just used the torch. That's a shortcut door, though I've never actually used it. Not to head from the outside to the inside, at least. Nope. Nope. Halberd too good. Doesn't matter that it's a pokey weapon, and I usually smack talk pokey weapons. We're just going to ignore that fact. But you come down here and then wait a few seconds, and the guy up top who's shooting crossbows at you drops down to try to get a better angle, and then he dies. which is very nice. Not for him, but... also nice, not for him. And if you head down this way, a guy drops down behind you. And what is my camera doing? The camera was acting very strange there, but... welcome to Dark Souls, I guess. Oh, hi. How could you? No. I will not accept this mistreatment. No. Alright, so... this being a pokey weapon hasn't made it bad against dogs, but it's not very good against them. Good against those guys, though. We'll take that. Just... moving to the side is very powerful. Gotta say. Those old guys up there, they have the strategy. Just move to the side, and you're good. And now we can have a halberd off with this guy. If you go over to that door, then more little small dudes come out. I forget what they're actually called. Grey Rat's one of them, though. Oh, I rolled too late. Only happens once, though. Wonder, can you jump on this? I'm not gonna try that, actually. You know, now that I think about it. I like living. And I know how to deal with them when I come this way. Even though I don't use pokey weapons very often, I still know how to deal with them. So, we have that advantage. And here, there's one when you come in, you pick this up, and then either once you pick this up or once you start to leave, that one drops. Here, there's a guy here. There's a guy here. There's a guy there. But up here... well, he was smart enough to run, I guess. But still... that did not go as planned. But it worked. I was kind of hoping that I could drop down and use the length of the halberd. To hit two enemies. Like, hit both of them. Hello. Hello. You do not fear me. Okay, that attack. That attack when you can't move to the side. a little scary. And the constant book bashing. For some reason, it's like that quick, just like over the skull slam with the book has done more damage to me than their mace. I guess knowledge is power. That's why these basic guys die so fast. Oh, hello. Yeah, so these guys, it's really easy. For some reason, they have, like, basically no poise if you hit them 1 to twice. But if you try to R1 spam them, then they can eventually just power through it. And so it's good to go up to them, hit them 1 to 2 times, and then back off. Like, that works surprisingly well, actually. So that's good to know. And for these guys, turn the corner. And they don't know how to deal with corners. And continuing on, poke, poke, and big door. I'm kind of surprised that you can push a door this big. Maybe they're hollowed out or something. The world is in such a state of disrepair that even the doors are hollowed. You, come with me. Well... I was not expecting this guy to jump out, but... he just sat back and didn't do anything, so it worked out. And these guys are all ignoring me, so that also works out. Fun fact, this guy right here, he's hanging out on the side here, and if you attack him, assuming he doesn't die in that one swing, he'll actually fall down and, like, walk on the ground below you, and so, like, he'll be halfway inside of the ground, and he'll only be visible from chest up, and then he'll run up to, like, here, and then do the climb up animation as if he was climbing up this. It's very funny. I'll make sure to show it to you next run. And yeah, this will be better. Yeah. 2 charged attacks while two-handing the torch. And that took him out. There's another one not too far away from here. And so I can show you what normal damage does. Like, as compared to fire damage. So to the left here, there's an elevator. And so we can take that, and then it leads to this small door here. And going through that, it then leads to a big door. Which is wonderful. And that big door leads back to the bonfire. And we do have an undead bone shard. Can we burn that here? We cannot. Not gonna bother then, because the loading screen going to Firelink Shrine and then the loading screen coming back from Firelink Shrine, that's just a lot. But now we can head down here. And if an enemy is generally pretty fair to fight, I have no problem getting their attention and going, hey, look, here I am, and letting us have an honorable one-on-one. And so I grant that to Evangelists and Deep Gem. But like the Ultra Greatsword Cathedral Knights, they don't get that. They're too annoying. But once you try to head up, bloop. And I feel like you do very little damage. But this does good damage. Despite this being +3 and two-handed, and this being just normal and not at all upgraded. And here, Giant. I don't remember how to get past the Giant without getting smacked. But there's this guy. There's a few items there. Ow! There's a few items there. You can come back and get them after the Giant dies. Or you can get them and take a few smacks from the Giant. Whatever you think is better. They're both pretty viable options. I was scared for a second that he was gonna back up. And my swing was gonna miss. Yeah, like that. Which they are very fond of doing. But okay. And then here, there's an item. But he gloops. And from there we can get Seek Guidance. And you can run past this little side section and just keep going down the stairs if you want. But I like loot, so... And here's a nice little fighting area to fight this Evangelist. Watch out, because a lot of their mace attacks will send you flying backwards. And if you get sent down the ladder, like, the damage from being hit and the fall damage, very, very likely to kill you. Because the fall from just the ladder, at this point in the game, takes a little over half your health. Maybe more. Like that's a big fall. It's not guaranteed death, but you will feel it. And here's a Mimic. And thankfully, you can mostly go without dodging against Mimics. You can mostly just use movement to avoid them, which is very nice, because that means less stamina cost, which means more stamina to swing. But they give you the Deep Braille Divine Tome, which you can give to Arena, but she doesn't really... Ow. But yeah, she doesn't really like the darker miracles. Yep. And stab. And stab. And you die. They have one of the coolest helmets in the game. But sadly we did not get it. It's pretty rare. But it's very nice if you do get it. And Ember. And Big Death Cat. Ow. Yeah, and it gives curse. And so does the Halberd just not have range? All right. You know what? You can get shot by some arrows. Because apparently the Halberd just doesn't have range anymore. I thought it did have range, but I was swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging, and none of those attacks connected, so I guess it just no longer has range. Oh, I did not hear you. But yeah, if you come in here while embered, you'll get invaded by Kirk. And don't let him scare you. It is very easy to stun lock him. And his weapon does not have good range at all. And yeah, his rolling does a tiny bit of damage, but it's very little damage. And it doesn't stun you. And so he's an easy pushover. But taking him out gets you the barbed straight sword and the spiked shield. And the barbed straight sword is basically the long sword, but with some bleed buildup at the cost of lower durability. And the spiked shield is basically just like a normal medium shield, like smaller side of medium shield, kind of like a small shield, but instead of having the skill be parry or just weapon skill, it's shield strike like a lot of great shields are. But if you head into the back right, you can head down some stairs, there's another door, and then another door, which will lead you back here, which is quite nice. Now there is this door here. We will be ignoring that door for now. We will get back to it later, but that is a very dangerous, no fun door. And is by far the most difficult part of this entire area. Which is kind of weird, that it's not the giant in muck that slows you down, but if you don't know what's out there, just those thin X rafters are your walking space, and you have to fight Cathedral Knights. And it's not very fun. But this guy, like I said, this muck slows you down, and he has a lot of health, and there's a lot of these things. So it can be good to kind of wait on the outskirts here and draw as many of these things away as you can, and then use the torch since they're very weak to fire damage. To just take them out here. Because, like, this unupgraded torch, even with how slow it is and how short range it is, will still kill them faster than the +3 halberd. But if you come over here to the left, there's some more. If you aren't using like a bow to shoot them with arrows, then there's one or two that you won't get the attention of. Like, there's one here that we have the attention of, but then there's one back there that sometimes comes over, but usually it misses you. And then there's one behind its feet that we can't see right now. Oh, it's coming over this time. Wonderful. So this can be a bit of a time waster, but dying to that thing with these things is also a time waster, so you can see it between its legs there by the chain. Oh, missed. Oh, it might see us. Oh, it sees us. There's one more back there, though. Tragic. So that last one definitely isn't seeing us. It's just too far away. But getting all of them besides one... Whoops. Like, getting all of them besides one is pretty good in my eyes. So I'd say it's better to go up these stairs, because there is this gloopy guy who can sometimes vomit onto you. Which is very gross. And he drops down, and then there's also wherever they are. Oh, there they are. They were right behind the foot. Alright. But yeah, if you come onto the stairs, then he goes back to sleep. Which allows you to just take this thing out. Assuming your torch doesn't whiff 582 attacks. Alright. And if he goes into this form, he takes dramatically less damage. And so, it might seem like a good idea to make him go into that sleep pose and then go after him, but the developers thought of anti-cheese methods. So you have to fight them legit, just... You want to fight them legit in a one-on-one. So, we're not here to cheese, just have a fair fight. Because... Yeah. Fair fights are nice. But killing him, you get 4 dung pie and a large titanite shard. And he is also protecting the Drang armor. There is no helmet to this. There's also a Pale Tongue, which is for a Covenant, and a side quest, and also the Drang hammers. And there was another giant over there. We will get to them soon-ish. For now, you continue moving up. There's this room. There's some enemies. There's an ember in the back. You want to take out these 2 guys walking forward. Because when you can, it's better to take out the small things. And then take out the big thing. The big thing is best saved for last. So that way you aren't stuck fighting them and then you just take a fireball to the side. Alright. I mentioned the helmet. Yay. Alright, but there's a second Cathedral Knight sitting down. And it's good to go behind him, do a charge attack, and then you can get a backstab. When the game lets you get a backstab in. And that did not go as planned, but a kill is a kill. And we take those. So in the side of the room, there's this elevator. And at the top of the elevator is this giant door. This is the shortcut that I mentioned never taking. I guess it could be useful if you took it with that shortcut over there. But there's a bridge over here, and just across the bridge is another bonfire. And so it's not super useful. It's like, if it was the only way, it would be useful, but there's the shortcut down there, there's a bonfire over there, so there's just more useful ways already, but anyways.
Well, you look reasonably sane. I am a knight of Katarina. I've managed to track down this cathedral's store of treasure. It's right over there, across that narrow part. Treasure? Always so close, yet so far. I'm in quite a pickle, indeed. Just hold your horses a moment. I know. Treasure is so sorely tempting.
I love this so much. Like, how it's patches and how it's clearly patches. And like the voice is different and everything. And how it's him making fun of Sigurd. I love everything about this. But the giant is standing up, but if you actually go down and back over, while he's in that standing position, when you get close, he like teleports back down onto one knee and then does the animation to stand up. So it's kind of weird, but anyways, that giant is in the muck. And the muck slows you down. And so it can actually be beneficial to go over here because it brings him here. So I'm going to do that.
Shame on you, you greedy guts. Thought you could outwit an onion. Well, say hello to the nice giant. He adores visitors.
Hello. Did I make him stagger after one attack? How very strange. But yeah, also their combat is kind of made for you to be in the slow area. And so, as you can see, me simply jogging normally like this kind of freaks him out because he doesn't know what to do. It's like, whoa, they're going at supersonic speed. And then he dies. And that gets you a large Titanite shard and 4 dung pie. And there's some stuff over there, but again, we can get to that when we get to that. Gonna do that after this fight. I think doing that after the fight would be the best. But for now, poke, poke, poke. The two of you die. And here you can summon a Horus. You can summon Anri. And if you talk to Cirrus, you can summon Cirrus as well. And again, I didn't apply it to Dark Souls 1 because I recorded all those runs before thinking of it, but starting in Dark Souls 3, I'm going to limit myself to 3 summons max. So it's like I can summon Horus 3 different runs. I can summon Anri 3 different runs. Not gonna do either of them yet because I don't imagine this would perform too poorly. Even though it's a pokey weapon, like I 2-shot the small guys, 3-shot the more medium guys. So it's like our damage is pretty good. And the deacons are already pretty easy. And like, look at the damage we've got. All I have to worry about is being sent flying by the big guys. Or like maybe being stun locked. Yep, there it is. Get out of my way. Yeah, if they get into the middle of the group, it can be kind of hard to deal with them. Mostly because of the stun lock. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I was gonna say. Oh. It's like, he went from one hit from death and by himself to me being one hit from death and him being in the middle of the group. That was wild. But it worked out. Beating them, you get the small doll, which is a key item you need for later on, along with their soul. And sitting down, you can also get the archdeacon, however you pronounce it, set. But from there, you can head back to the chapel. If you have the DLC, Painted World of Ariandel, you can go there from that guy. And also a guy spawns here. And I should be getting the DLC soon for PC. I don't think I'll do it every single run. Like, I went through the DLC every single run for Dark Souls 1 because it was super fun and I loved it. And here, protected by the giant, there's a soul, some exploding bolts, and Lloyd's sword ring, which gives you more damage if you're full health. And you take a lot of damage, but you can drop down here. And here you get the maiden set. And you need to do a big trudge. But you also get a soul, and then there's a door here. Now, again, I'm not going to go through the DLCs every single run. Mostly because I'm not used to a lot of the weapon classes, because there's like 3 or 4 that I mostly stick to. And the bosses in the Dark Souls 3 DLCs are like some of the hardest bosses there are. So I don't think I have the ability to take them out with like a dagger. But here you get 2 Homeward Bones and Saint Bident, which is a holy spear. Yeah, faith and slightly strength-based spear. And from there, we can head back to Firelink. But I will try to go through the DLC at least a few times. Probably for, like, greatsword runs, since greatswords are what I'm most comfortable with. But once you beat Deacons of the Deep, then Anri will be here.
Oh, and we meet again. We spoke before on the Road of Sacrifices. Anri of Astora. I'm well pleased to see you safe. We reached the Cathedral of the Deep, but Aldrich's coffin was empty. The man-eater must have left for his true home. The little doll in the empty coffin told me. Aldrich is said to hail from Irithyll in the Boreal Valley, an ancient fabled city. A pilgrim told me that the city lies beyond Farron Keep, and so becomes our destination.
So the little doll would be this. And the pilgrim, I assume, would be them. I'm assuming.
Aldrich's honest home is Irithyll in the Boreal Valley, an ancient fabled city. A pilgrim told me that the city lies beyond Farron Keep, and so becomes our destination.
That's kind of true, but kind of false at the same time. Like, technically it does lie beyond Farron Keep, but you have to go through Farron Keep and then the catacombs.
Aha, that so.
And yeah, Crystal Sage, you can get Crystal Hail or their Thrusting Sword, which increases item discovery by 50 points. And then Deacons of the Deep, you get Deep Soul Sorcery or their Straight Sword, which does a bit of magic damage and can be used as a catalyst. Again, I'm gonna get this because it increases item discovery, and that's good for grinding.
Treat the fire key.
But we're gonna pop the Deacon's Soul because that gives 20,000.
Ah,
And I will take 20,000 souls over a straight sword or spell that I can't use any day. And some more stuff that we can sell because we don't need any of this. We don't need any of this whatsoever. Deep weapon, don't even know what that means, so I definitely don't need it. See guidance when not using miracles. No straight swords, no great swords, even though this gives you FP per kill, which is very nice. No ultra great swords, no hammers, no spears, just halberds and this for grinding. Not using this shield this run, not using this shield this run. Not using this, not using this, not using this. Not using this run, but I like the look of the helmet so much that I'm gonna keep it anyways. Not using any of this armor this run, so we can get rid of all of it. Now, even though I do a different, I do a different weapon class each run, I do a different shield each run, I do a different armor set each run, but I don't do different rings each run because Chloranthy ring, Covetous Silver Serpent ring, Poison Bite ring, they're just too universally good or too consistently useful, whereas Lloyd's Sword Ring is useless. Ultratra's Sapphire, that might be good on a sorcery run, but on the sorcery runs, how many critical attacks am I gonna do, honestly? It might be good on the miracle run, but how many critical attacks am I gonna do on a miracle run? So it's the highs and lows are just they're too different.
Ashen.
But since we're here, and since we have all these different halberds, we can look at what they've got. Halberd seems basically like a spear with some slash attacks. red-hilted halberd. Pretty much the same thing. But red, I guess. And it also has perseverance instead of charge. Neither of which are good, in my opinion. Lucerne, different moveset. Every other swing is a slash, which is very, very nice. So there is that bit of change. And it also has spin sweep. Which is an okay skill, definitely better than charge and perseverance. And so, if I'm gonna go with anything right now, it'd be Lucerne. Glaive, same thing. It's got the more varied moveset. Along with this, which is more useful. So it's between Lucerne and Glaive, where Lucerne is more a bit of strength and dex, so it's more quality weapon, whereas Glaive is more strength focused. And Lucerne weighs 7.5, where Glaive weighs 11. Though, right now, Glaive just flat out has better damage. By a noticeable amount. But Crescent Axe, it only weighs 6. But it also has this moveset. It looks slower, but maybe I'm delusional. It has the same spin charge attack that they all have. That looks all the same. But it has a war cry. Which changes your heavy into like a sprint. I've never actually used a war cry before, so I don't know how useful that would be. But looking at their ranges, these are basically the same. Lucerne is slightly shorter. Compared to what I'm used to being the halberd. Glaive looks ever so slightly longer. And then Crescent Axe is significantly shorter. Even shorter than the Lucerne. But I would say, if I'm gonna go with anything, it would probably be either Halberd, which I'm going with now, Crescent Axe, because of its a low weight, or Lucerne because it has better damage than the Crescent Axe and more damage. Like 19 to 26, so that's 7 more base and 2 more additional. So 9 more damage, a bit more range, and it has spin sweep, which is useful. But I'm going to wait until I have some more Titanite shards, because I would need an extra 4 to get the Lucerne to +3. Though, because we killed the 2 giants, we do have 2 large Titanite shards. So we could get the Halberd to +4 if we wanted to. But part of me kind of wants to move over to the Lucerne. So we can wait on that because the damage here is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Like, it's pulling its weight.
Welcome home, speak. Very well then taken.
And 12, 12. If they're the same, then I just go with whatever's lower. 14, 15. 16, 18. Alright. Good.
Farewell, Ashen Mid.
Do we have any... Nope.
At the foot of Lothric Castle, an old path still runs below the tower in the undead settlement. It was used to transport sacrifices to the Cathedral of the Deep. You should see where it leads. If you've the stones for it.
He's talking about the Road of Sacrifices. We've already went through it.
You haven't given up yet? Then you're a brusher lad than I thought. You can make better use of this. I don't need it. Not now I've flown the coop. The Undead Legion of Farron is a caravan of undead, sworn by wolf's blood to contain the abyss. The Legion will bury a kingdom at the first sign of exposure. Joyous bunch, really. Gaining admission to the Legion is a matter of some ceremony. Inside their keep, snuffing out the flames of 3 altars opens the door to the wolf blood. Even accursed undead want to believe they're special, it seems. I pity the sorry souls. Gaining admission to the Legion is a matter of some ceremony. Inside their keep, snuffing out the flames of 3 altars opens the door to the wolf blood. Even accursed undead want to believe they're special, it seems. I pity the sorry souls.
Alright. And one more NPC to go.
Well, hasn't it been some time? I'm Leonard, the Ringfinger. Remember me? I slipped you those red eyes some time ago. You're making quite an effort of it, so I thought you might like to know. If you yearn for a proper red-eye orb, one that is uncracked, then kill the Dark Wraith, survivor of the land swallowed by darkness. He has been a prisoner for many ages in the deepest cell in all Lothric. I can see it in your eyes. If you didn't invade, didn't pillage, whatever would you do?
I'm not a fan of PvPs, so you saw wrong. But we can do that before Tower on the Wall. But yeah, we can do that before ending this. Again, I don't have my timer, so I don't know how long we've been going for. But there is that one final door that I said we would skip for a bit and then get back to later. I think we can do that next part because that one single section can last as long as the entire level. It's so bad. At least if the Cathedral Knights aren't cooperative at the moment. So it could take like 15 minutes. It could take 20 hours. It just depends on how they're feeling at the moment. But this is where we saved Greyrat. So now with the lift chamber key, we can head down. And all the way here at the bottom, there's a Dark Wraith. Surrounded by all of these Lothric Knights that supposedly they killed. And It's surprisingly easy to just sit back and just charge them. Oh. But take them out, you get the red eye orb. So cracked red eye orbs allow you... They're like a consumable that you can use to invade someone. Whereas this is like more of a key item. It's in the consumable spot, but it's unlimited use. And so unlike the cracked red eye orbs, you don't lose this upon invading someone. So that's good if you like PvP. Once again, I don't. But yeah, we can finish that one final section next time. For now, we went through all of Cathedral of the Deep. We beat the boss. It was a little dicey at the end there, but we beat him. We talked to some NPCs. We moved some quests along. I think that's pretty good progress. And, yeah.